Jesus answered, "Anyone who drinks the water from this well is thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water that I give him will never be thirsty again, because that water is like a spring from which eternal life flows." So the woman said, "Lord, give me some of that water so that I won't be thirsty again or have to come here to get it." Jesus told her, "Go, call your husband and come back here with him." "I don't have a husband," the woman replied. Jesus said, "It's true, because you've had 5, and the man you live with now is not your husband." Whenever I read this text, I start to meditate on the life that woman, a lonely woman, a woman trying to seek to satisfy something, to try to find something that would not and wouldn't never make her feel happy, that would make her feel good, that would make her feel satisfied. As the case of men and women who, as history goes by, are always looking for the same thing, something that makes them feel satisfied, full, accepted, loved, and approved. God created man with that need, with the need to feel loved, approved, and accepted. That's why we do what we do. Many try to do the best professionals so that the people around them can see that they are successful. All the time we try to show others what we are not. And only when we are alone do we realize who we really are. This is not an alien case to what you may be living today. I'll put it in context. Jesus arrives at a place after preaching the word, arrives to a well, but Jesus does not arrive there by chance, because the well in which he arrives is a place called Samaria. And generally, the Samaritan, those who lived in Samaria, did not like each other with the Jews, with those of Israel. And although Jesus knew this, Jesus breaks the rules, breaks the paradigms, breaks the laws, and they imagine that place, a separation. Jesus arrives at that place and is there waiting at that well. In that well, people were approaching to draw water, especially the women who come there. The women come together there. Several arrived at an hour in the afternoon to draw water. One of these that strikes me is this woman. The name is not told, but she is not registered as another woman in the Bible. There is much talk about her, to the point that today we are talking about her because her life can be equal to the situation that you are going through and are living today, which no one else can understand. This woman went to get water, but she was alone. And she was alone not because she did not like being with the other women. She was alone because of her reputation. She was not well known in the world, since her job or what she did was something delicate, which perhaps had interrupted the home of many, although many times we judge the actions and the deeds of people. We never stop to observe what is in the heart. The problem of man today is not his actions. It's not his doing, but his being. What is a man going to demonstrate out there? And although at some point we try to live a role or play a role in society of what we are not, at some point what we are will shine. It is like, I give you an example. It's like having a pet puppy and disguising him in such a way like a baby. You can buy him clothes for dogs, you can buy him a bed for dogs, you can decorate his room, celebrate his birthday, and think at some point that he is your son because he is your companion. But at some point, even if you raised him, his nature is going to show what it is. And you can't judge him by his actions. You can't judge him You can't punish him because at some point you brushed his teeth, or maybe he tried to bite you, or he got angry, or he barked at you. He is going to bark. He is going to be enraged. At some point, perhaps, he will not lick you, but will try to bite you because that is in his nature. He cannot change that nature unless a miracle occurs and it ceases to be an animal, to be a human being. You can try to pretend many things to people, but in the end, when you are alone, you realize what you really are. And what you are is what has been molded in you. It has been worked on you all your life. The home where you grew up, the people you have surrounded yourself with, the environment in which they are, the information they have received from this world, the blows that life has given you, everything has been recorded in the book of the heart. And the tremendous thing is what each person who sees us can read the pages that have been written there. Some pages have been folded because perhaps it has happened to you like this woman. She went to that well to look for water because she was thirsty. A need led her to that well, but she doesn't get to just any well. It was the place where she was going to have an encounter with Jesus. Perhaps you are criticizing your job and the situation that you are going through today, but you have not realized that these moments of loneliness are only leading you to one thing: to have an encounter with Jesus, to be able to look at that sky and realize that you have never been alone, that you have never been alone. God has always been there. He has always been there. Now, she comes to the well and she realizes that Jesus is not a Samaritan. And she starts a conversation with him. By starting that conversation, she starts talking to Jesus. And what Jesus says is, "Give me a drink." Jesus was really thirsty. Jesus wanted to take her to the point in her life. We can't give what we don't have. And don't think you have a lot because maybe you have money or you have a good job. Because let's face it, there between you and me, are you really happy? Are you really satisfied with what you have and what you are doing? Are you satisfied by the people you are surrounded with? And do not talk to me about the moment, because the moment is fleeting. A wish passes. I'm talking about now. I'm talking about intimacy. I am talking to you when you are there in the private of your room. How do you feel? Is your heart full? Of course not. Because perhaps through this audio, I am bringing you closer to that well where God is waiting for you all the time. Where God tells you, "Give me a drink," and maybe you will go looking and you will not find anything. The only thing you will find in your heart will be bitterness, pain, frustration, because how many times have you been wrong? How many people have mistreated you? Or worse still, how many people have you opened your heart and they have not known how to value it? The heart is one of the things that we less care about. And usually when we feel good with something, we tend to open the door of our house, open the door of our heart, and surrender everything. And we are not careful knowing that not everyone can really take care that our heart's needs. A heart is that far from God. A heart that is not placed in the hands of the Lord is a heart that is exempt from being mistreated and harmed, because my beloved friend who is listening to me right now, and I know that you are listening to me carefully, even family can fail you. People can fail you. Open your heart and give it to anyone. It's like trying to build a house on a sand. You are stressed all the time because you know that you do not have a good foundation. You are crying out loud that the world does not tremble, so that your house does not fall. But every time it trembles, You can find patches on the wall. Every time your house shakes, you find that you need to fix. And sometimes the patch becomes not the solution because the wall keeps cracking inside. Are you understanding me? So that woman told him, Lord, I am going to give you a drink. We are in a well. But to the point that Jesus wanted to get to, Jesus told her, if you knew who it is that asks you to drink, you will ask me, give me a drink, and I will give you water, which will never make you thirsty. Now Jesus was not referring to a physical thirst. He was referring to a spiritual thirst. That water that can only quench what your heart needs. And you won't find that in man. You will never find it. For example, when you are thirsty, which is the first thing you are looking to drink? Some say, well, I will look for water. Others will say, I will buy myself a soda. Others say, I buy myself a lemonade or buy myself a juice. Today, there are many liquids to choose from. But what really hydrates? What your body really needs? What is really going to quench your thirst? Because you can drink a lot of fluids, and in the end, you're still thirsty. I don't know if it happened to you, how you've been thirsty, and you have drank water, and you continue to drink, and you continue to drink, and you feel a thirst due to an anxiety that does not satisfy you. In the same way, there are many types of water in life, and so that you understand a little more, Jesus went to something deeper and told her, bring me your husband. But not because Jesus wanted to meet him. It was because Jesus knew that this woman every day went to the well, but daily she tried to satisfy the need of her heart with the love of others and not with true love. That's why she says to Jesus, I have no husband. And Jesus said, you have said well, because you have had 5, and the one you have now is not your husband. If you had had 5, and now with another, she were already going to have 6 husbands. Now, let's not judge this woman. And my intention is not to judge this woman or to judge you, man and woman, you who are listening to me. My intention is to show you how many times this woman had tried to satisfy the need of her heart. 6 times. Perhaps the first one. I don't know how many husbands you have been able to have. And I want you to understand this world. I hope you are focusing and getting the idea today. How many chances have you had? How many opportunities have you missed? And how many husbands have you looked for? Let's say the first is money. Let's say the second is success. Let's say the third is friends. The fourth is a relationship. The fifth, a family. And perhaps the sixth is the one you are trying now. We call it drugs, alcohol, parties, and even religion, because we think that by becoming religious, we will really satisfy. We will not confuse the spiritual with the religious, because what man needs today is not a religion. What man needs today is a relationship, a spiritual, true spiritual. It's not based on a set of rules which lead you to discipline yourself in such a way that you have to do it or leave it to do it. The relationship with God, true spirituality, is based on the relationship with God and the fact of knowing who God is. You can access the life that He left us through the best gift, His Son, Jesus Christ. When He died on the cross, He gave us true love, the true treasure, which is called salvation, the true gift that completely satisfies us, and that although man fails us, we know not only makes us feel, but makes us know by faith that we are loved, approved and approved. That is why that woman could continue searching every day until she never found, but she found Jesus. I believe that through this audio, I want to ground you a little, and I want to ask you, everything you have tried, have you been happy? You will tell me, yes, of course. But if you are not now, are you talking about an ephemeral, fleeting, temporary happiness? I am talking about a joy that is eternal and that does not happen to you. Understand? I hope you start thinking about this today and observe how many husbands you have had. And I hope that you understand the question and that you can today make a stop and really give your life to God and say, Lord, I don't want to look for more husbands. Only you can saturate my heart. Saturate it today. What do you think if we all pray together? Father, today we receive these words and we understand that we have been looking in the wrong place. We have lived only moments, but life is more than moments, Lord. And today I pray for all these people who are receiving these words and that they feel identified as that woman known as the Samaritan woman. But it was a woman who changed her life, changed her history. The pages of her history were torn off. You began to write a new history because after that ends, that conversation with Jesus, she announced to the world what had happened in her life. Lord, I pray that today they can have that meeting and that today when they make that stop, that the tears come out of their eyes of each person. Lord, make them understand that apart from you, we are nothing and there is no life. You are true. You are love. You are just. You are faithful. In you we are loved, accepted, and approved. And you, Lord, satisfy all needs. Thank you, my God. Amen. This was a translation from your pastor and friend, Elias Hoyos. He spoke to you. Remember that you can follow him on your YouTube channel, Devotionals Just in Time. Subscribe. And you can also follow him on Instagram. You can find him as Pastor Elias HC. A hug and blessings.